Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Simon Chair Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you some news on today. First we're gonna start with death penalty. A mental health crisis. A mental health crisis should not have the death penalty. Should not have the death sentence. That should not be equal. They should not be equal along with a regular person that do a crime. So Seattle Police Department has a history of violent response to people in mental health crisis. So that result in minimal to no discipline for offend officer. So often following, these shooting deaths, the Office of Police Accountability, will recommend charges to the police in training. So why these charges are necessary, they are meaningless if officers are not held, held accountable, for violating policy in their training. Because everything that's happening, all this killing and beating, it's not towards the training. I'm quite sure when they have training, they didn't go through this kind of procedure. So they're violating all kind of training and procedures. So the OPA is the Office of Police Accountability. Investigating, found that they held violating, violating the policy and their action directly to criminal death. So Seattle community, the police commission believe the lack of meaningful discipline is fundamental. Cause see all the stuff that is happening, a lot of them is not being charged for anything. So bearing, to end the officer misconduct. So they settle that will continue to see officers responding in daily ways to people experiencing mental health crisis. They might have to go to class or to training for mental health. They got to have some kind of section, because mental health shouldn't even be in jail. They shouldn't even have death sentences. They should be placed in another place where they can receive help. So eternal shall Daisy could make clear to officers that violation of use of force and this calculation policy will be met with the strongest discipline, including termination of their community deserve no less. So now they're trying to put it on the community like they're doing this for the community. So OPA, Officer of Police Accountability. So OPA investigating this matter. Mental health crisis should not be a death sentence. It should not be a death sentence. Mental health person should be somewhere receiving help, not in prison. All police, if brutal and innocent, be an innocent person, a mental health, person would be accountability of your action. So one, killing and beating an innocent person, will come to an end. Because I'm going to constantly keep writing up these policies because it have to stop. Beating innocent people, killing innocent people, not sending innocent people to prison to have death penalty. That's why I banned death penalty, because lately, you've been arresting people and they're serving 20 to 30 years and come to find out they're innocent. So that's why you got to not have that penalty at all, because you're not arresting the real criminal. You have to make sure that's a real criminal for this death penalty. That's why I say I ban death penalty completely. Because it's so many innocent people going to jail serving 20 to 30 years, and then then the system find out they innocent. So one, killing and beating innocent person will come to an end. There will be new policy. Beating mental person and placing them in jail will come to an end. They should not be in prison. They should not be equal for a death penalty. So mental person should not equal to death sentence because they don't even know what's going on. You have them in prison. They're trying to figure out where they at in a small little room looking at the wall. They have to be somewhere where they can get the proper help. So I ban death penalty, for innocent person, any innocent person, and mental health person. This permanent policy will guarantee a change in death penalty policy for mental health and innocent person. We have to be careful and make sure you have the right person in prison. And a mental person is not equal to any death sentence. So I ban death penalty. And one, no mental person will not have death penalty. They will not be equal to this sentence. Two, no innocent person will not have death penalty. You need real evidence and real proof. So that's on death penalty. So I want to talk to you about this war is still going on. It had the little incident the other day. So United States flying civilians on cameras drone farther south over the Black Sea. So after collusion, with Russia fighting jet, officials say the drone flight have remained in the international airspace. But since the conclusion between one of the Russian jet and the MQ-9 Reaper drought last Tuesday. So the United States had moved. It moved its drought flight farther away from the airspace, surrounding Pennsylvania and eastern of the Black Sea. So all of this will happen like over the Black Sea. It will happen over the Black Sea. Now, effort to avoid being too as President Biden, he remained careful, to avoid any incident that could potentially escalate into a direct conflict between us and Russia forces. So we have to be careful because with us speaking, it will lead to more damages. So the purpose of the assessment was to elevate the intelligence, gathered from the mission against the risk of escalation, with Russia. So defense lawyer Austin, he said after the incident, the United States will continue to fly. It will continue to fly and to operate whenever international law allows. So a Russian fighter jet force downed United States Air Force over the Black Sea on Tuesday after damaging the pavilion of the American MQ-9 Reaper drone, according to the United States military. I agree that we do have to avoid any conflicts right now. So it won't escalate. And I will remain careful and look into this situation, in a solution to this problem, between us and Russia forces. So I will still be looking into it, but right now we just have to be careful right now because we don't want things to escalate worse than what it already is. So we talked about that penalty. To have a mental person that's in prison right now, and so they're thinking about giving him a death sentence, and he is not equal to death sentence. He had to be placed somewhere so he can get help. So I ban death penalty because I banned death sentence because lately so many people been serving 20 to 30 years in prison. Without enough evidence, not a full, complete investigation, and then later on, then they find out the person was innocent. And then they let him out after 20 years. So that's why you can't do the death penalty, because you're not doing a full investigation. You need real evidence and you need real proof, and sometimes the witness is not good either. Just like the man that served 20 years. They went on a witness by showing one picture. Had the same the first and last name. So we have to be careful, having someone in prison and then, allow them to serve all the many years, and then decide, if you would have give him death penalty, and you had the wrong person in there, the wrong person would have had the death penalty. So we have to be careful of having people in prison, because you have to make sure that's the right person, to serve all them years. So we talked about this war going on. I had a little incident the other day. So we'll be looking into a solution to some kind of problem to have these policies drawn up. So that's all I can say right now on the war. And we talk about the death sentence. So that's all the news I have for you on today. I'll see y'all on the next video.